What's up? Welcome to the weekly InSalt. I'm CD. I'm joined as always by my boys and fellow. I can't even think of a good insult for you guys. But what's up, Chaz? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself today?
And Mr. Wade, I'm good. Thank you.
I'm good, man. I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah, I think. And Kurt, what's going on?
Good.
We have a special guest also in the studio today, Mr. Brian Ferris, joining us from Seattle, Washington. What's up?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome
Pleasure
back.
to be back.
Is it Seattle or is it now Utah?
I've been nomadic for a while, but it is currently, Utah.
Well, welcome back.
My stuff is in Seattle.
That's okay.
My body is here. My soul
Is your
wanders.
heart in Seattle?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Okay, fair.
We'll get more into that. You are kind of involved into the field of biotech engineering, I guess. Was that the right way to put it?
Yeah, it's appropriate.
We'll get into that, but I wanted to, Chez, you asked me how I was doing. I just wanted to let the whole world know about my flaming wings. Just kidding.
This could go down bad.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But anyway, hey, we all went camping this weekend. The four of us went to 3 different places, and it sounds like it's kind of the waxing, or is it the waning or the waxing? The Indian summer, if you will. Can you still say that? Can you still say Indian summer?
Can't.
No,
You can,
Native American summer.
okay. Well, it's the Indian
Depending
summer.
on with feather or dot. You can't say that either.
Yeah. It's so weird to have to like watch your words, but I mean, I was in the Uintas and I was identifying local plants and fungus, and I found Indian paintbrush. But now, and actually, I like listening to KRSL 90.9 and listening to its public radio on the way down on Sunday mornings. They have Sagebrush Sunday, and then they have Native American music that plays from 7 to 10, but they said now it's indigenous music.
Maybe that is the appropriate term. I don't know.
Gosh, I just hope I don't offend anyone. I'm just an idiot.
We all went camping this weekend, though, and I wanted to ask you some questions, CD, about your camping trip, because you went up to like the Mirror Lake area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's a lot of Boy Scout camps up there.
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you go to as a kid?
I went to as a kid and then worked for 2 years at Camp Steiner.
Steiner, that's right. And I always went to Evergreen.
Yeah.
But you made sure to hike up there. Did you hike through it and see everything?
Yeah, it was closed down and everything's all overgrown and there's like trees falling over in the road and shit.
Did it make you kind of nostalgic though?
Dude, I swear to God, I pulled up in the parking lot and as soon as I saw the sign, I started crying.
Yeah.
It was like I was overwhelmed with emotion, but it was cool. You know, I went up to the mess hall and rang the dinner bell, and you know went and saw all the places where I got merit badges at, and tried to break into the trading post to see if they had any more basket weaving kits.
Some boondoggle,
Yeah, some boondoggle.
rabbit fur.
Yeah. Not really. I really just wanted to make some moccasins, but and
You
it
could
was,
have just brought your own basket weaving kit.
yeah, true. It was cool though. And you guys went to. We were all kind of in the same area in the Wasatch National Forest area. You guys
Went
You
to
were
Echo Reservoir.
Echo and
Yeah.
Jordanelle,
Yep.
2 reservoirs that are kind of,
It was fun. It was hot. It was a hot weekend for sure.
yeah.
We're definitely in like fire season, which is weird because like last year fire season was spring. Now we're the end of summer, which is weird.
Yeah, it's funny too. I haven't heard much. Usually this time of year we hear a lot about wildfires in California and shit. I mean, that's kind of your neck of the woods, Brian. Like,
Yeah. Well, my brother-in-law actually just came back. He's a firefighter out here in Provo, and he went out there. He was out there for like 3 weeks because they bring in a lot of outside people, just kind of like be prepared.
outsourcing.
You gotta be
Yeah.
a little bit closer to your mic, just so you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, get that mic a little closer up in your face. There.
Yeah, don't mind if I do.
Sorry to interrupt.
But yeah. It's seems like from what I heard this year, they're throwing lots of resources at it, like getting a lot of people up there, like more than they necessarily need on a daily basis. But that's kind of what you want, right? Like get out in front of it.
Yeah,
I guess,
for sure.
I guess we should be grateful and thankful that there's not a whole lot of, and knock on wood, these high temperature natural disasters that happen. I mean, maybe they're not natural. Maybe people go and there's a bunch of Republicans, anti-Trump people, or whoever lighting fires, causing hate and discontent. But
Space lasers.
yeah, it's funny, and not to get too political, but I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about how they're blaming they're getting headaches from climate change. It's like it's
I'll bet.
Or like they're dehydrated.
yeah, it's like, or just drink some more water, you fucking idiot.
I mean, when the Earth gets hotter, what are humans living off of?
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got arthritis because it's cold outside. Well, no shit, warm up a little bit.
Yeah, that has been one of the things that I don't think I've really seen it in Utah or in the valley this year of like more intense storms. Because we talked about this on a previous show, but there's always like that, and it sounds silly, but there is a monsoon season where like
Sure, yeah.
the Gulf of Mexico, that warm water comes past Utah, and you get thunderstorms from the east, which usually doesn't happen. Usually they're coming from the west. But yeah, we got a couple of those, but they haven't been really bad in the Salt Lake Valley this year. I don't know why.
I don't know. We've gotten some pretty good rainstorms. I
Yeah.
think a little more than normal, which we probably needed, but
We usually get like one decent hailstorm, but I haven't had anything destroyed yet in my house. So maybe I'm happy it's a good year. Maybe
Yeah.
it's going to be a bad winter. That's what everybody's saying.
no. And here's the other thing too. Just looking back, I have Facebook memories and Google photo memories and stuff. But I was on Facebook today, and I had said something like, "I'm hoping all my friends and anybody looking down for the people of Louisiana for Hurricane Ira." Have we usually like hurricane season, and we're in hurricane season? We hear that's just all the thing that's making the news, and I haven't heard a single fucking beat come across at least my news page about anything hurricanes or tornadoes. It's all shootings, mostly shootings.
I don't think there's been any. Maybe I'm wrong, Ches. I can tell you're typing over there, but I don't think there's been any major hurricane yet.
But we're in hurricane season. We're
Yeah.
in tropical
Yeah.
storm season.
Mhm.
This is something that should be popping on our feeds.
It's because climate change is changing everything. Hurricanes are normal,
Yeah,
and we're
Canada-
not having them, and it's because of climate change.
Well,
Canada
is
is
that
gonna-
a good thing then?
right. That
How
should
dare
be.
you?
But yeah, but also the argument is that climate change is making them worse. And why haven't we heard? I haven't heard of Katrina, Ira, Maria, Caprenda, anything.
I kind of believe in the ebb and flow. Like the Earth has already shown extremes, so maybe right now is just not the extreme, but that doesn't mean that it's still not to come. You
And-
know what I mean? Like it could be later in the season than normal, or it could be next year.
We're
But-
just totally jinxing ourselves, and fucking Yellowstone's gonna blow up in a week.
That's one thing that we're good at doing as humans is we're good at living in the now, and if there's not a problem now, then there probably won't be. We'll just ride it out until we realize that we're fucked. And then we go to fight or flight mode, right? And then we're like, well, now we have to change everything to the extreme opposite, like releasing all these electric cars, which I think are helping, right? Cut down on those emissions, but you still got to charge it. You still got to
You still gotta mine all those
lithium batteries.
Yeah, and lithium comes from slaves in Africa mining. That's the dark secret of electric energy. Also, these charging plants that are charging the electric cars are also fueled by coal, and you have to burn the coal, and that's
Yeah.
still putting out emissions into the air. I don't think people really think about these the processes of what goes behind making clean energy.
Yeah, look at us going out into nature and then preaching to you all about how we should be clean. Yeah, thanks for bringing your trailer, Kurt. I'm sure that we were very carbon efficient.
Why? What's
We had we had electric hookups, water hookups. It was great. Yeah.
just burning a generator the whole
Yeah,
time?
we actually made comments
We
like,
didn't need to use a generator at all because we had a
Yeah.
electrical hookup.
I was like,
Oh, yeah,
30
nice.
amp
nobody's
service.
in the trailer. We should turn off the AC. And he's like, why? We got power. I'm like, yeah, you're right. We are in America.
That way it's nice and cold when you go in.
Ches, on your little camping trip, did you guys do anything fun? Did you you run up to Jordanelle, right?
Yeah, just kind of hung out, played some games.
Did you have to make a reservation like 3 years in advance to get up there?
I made it about, I don't know, a month in advance.
That's about
That's
what
not
you
bad.
did, Kurt, right?
Yeah.
About
I
a
booked it.
month.
Yeah, about a month.
Which you have to do. When we were leaving today, it was really weird. It's Monday today, so we had obviously the day off, but it was packed over the weekend, and then we woke up and I think there was 2 other people, and one person was just leaving. We were like the last people in the campground. I'm like, it's kind of eerie.
Ferris, when you were up in Seattle, did you have any like outdoor activities? I know you kind of were into like the burn scene and shit. Like what do you do
Yeah.
this time of year? Or-
Well, there's
camp,
tons of
hike.
outdoor stuff for sure. I think the biggest. It's funny you mentioned the Burning Man scene. So I went up on Mount Rainier. So out there we just have like single mountains. At least this is what it seems like. Just kind of like standing out of nowhere. Out here, we've got like mountain ranges. And up there, it's like you look in the distance, you're like, there's Mount Rainier. I'm going to go to that.
It is iconic up there.
Yeah.
Like you see it and you're like, that's Mount Rainier. Everybody knows what that looks like.
I get 12 Mount Rainiers whenever I go to the 7-Eleven, bro.
We got a nice beer up there. Have you had Rainier beer?
Yeah, it's like super cheap here.
Yeah.
It's not bad, though.
Yeah, it's not
I don't
bad.
mind a Rainier.
It's not good though.
I don't mind a Rainier, though.
Is that
don't mind it.
kokanee shit?
No,
No.
it's not a kokanee.
You get like you used to be able to get like a $3 tall can at the bar.
I would say, isn't Kokanee's Canadian, isn't it?
Yeah, you can taste the salmon.
Yeah.
They got Rainier out here?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to find
Oh.
now. I think one of the major distributors probably got rid of it. But.
It's no Olympia.
Well,
Yeah,
I
we
did.
can go ahead.
I did say nothing was off limits, so I was building up the courage to share the full details of this Mount Rainier trip. But you know, when I was a kid, I kind of smoked pot, and then was like, well, not a kid, but 20s. I was like, I guess I'll try some mushrooms, and tried them. But then kind of got into this whole burn scene a little bit, and was like, oh, psychedelics are cool. Lots of people do mushrooms. I've never had a heavy mushroom trip, so I went up to Mount Rainier by myself and ate. It was probably about like 7 grams of mushrooms.
Oh, that's
That
a
was it.
hero dose right
Yeah,
there.
that is.
Yeah, I went for it, and yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to this story. I won't go into. As I came up, I started getting a little scared. 1 of bears, 2 of druids. Actually, in the opposite order. Mostly, I was scared of the druids.
So a druid, I'm just trying to think of back a Mr. McNutt's class in 8th grade history or something. What the fuck is a druid? Like, is that guy dressed up in like chain link armor and shit? And he's gonna make you a serf?
Depends on
robe
what
slave?
kind of
robe.
druid. Yeah, it's usually a robe. Like I pictured kind of like a burlap sacky robe, right?
Yep.
Maybe a staff, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them has a staff. That sounds the scariest.
Yeah, he's the leader for sure. If he's got the staff and the rest of the druids are just like humming quietly,
That
then you're fucked.
that leads me to a little fun fact that I found today. That Jimi Hendrix was so fucking fucked up. He got druid high that he got kidnapped for like 2 or 3 days and didn't even realize he was kidnapped.
How cool would that be? They're
Can you
like,
believe that?
Jimmy,
did you
calm
know
down.
that Jimi Hendrix was fucking kidnapped?
How does that play out? Like, Jimmy, shut the fuck up. They've got guns and shit, and he's like, you guys are wild. He just doesn't know. He's like, are
And-
you guys like modern druids?
And then why did they let him go? You know, like he wasn't like playing the guitar good enough. Like he was just sitting there going, trying to be a druid.
Arguing in the back room.
Where's the burlap?
Air guitaring with a Kloshkinov.
Oh, Kloshkinov. What the hell's
Sorry, that was a bad pronunciation of AK-47.
that? Okay.
Yeah, is it did I pronounce it right?
Kalishnikov.
Kalishnikov.
Oh, all I was
Missed
hearing was
the eye.
washcloth. I'm like,
No,
fuck.
it
Yeah.
just gave me really good visions of Jimi Hendrix air guitaring an AK-47. They're like, you're supposed to be the kidnappee. Like, he doesn't know his own role in the kidnapping.
That's a legit good
Yeah.
strategy, though, is pretend like you don't even know, because it always gives them the out. Once you kidnap someone, you're stuck, and you might decide it's a really bad idea, but you can't go back.
How
But
did the ending of the story go? Because was it like they gave Jimi Hendrix up because they're like, we can't put up with this fucking bullshit anymore?
I honestly don't know because I got really deep today for whatever reason. I got really deep today into music conspiracy theories. I also read into a lot of shit that Stevie Wonder
Isn't blind?
isn't blind. Yeah,
What? I was just making shit up.
yeah, no, yeah. There's multiple celebrities, including Shaq. That one Anthony Anderson, that he used to be kind of a fat black guy, and now he's kind of just a chubby black guy.
Really narrowed it down for me.
Yeah, Anthony Anderson. You know, he's been on a million shows. Also, Lionel Richie. They all talk about like, oh yeah, I seen Stevie Richie just driving this car and is waving out like, hey, what's going on? But then there's video of him at like some concert gala, whatever, and Paul McCartney is walking past the stage and he knocks over the microphone stand, and Stevie Wonder catches it. It's like, okay, you knew that thing was falling. He just catches it.
When
But-
you're really famous, though, too, you actually hire people who are like your body double
Well,
to
he can.
take the heat off of you. So maybe
He's also been blind for most of his life.
so his hearing's got to be great.
Well, his senses are tuned, so he probably like had some, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger
Here's
shit.
the wind. It's all
Yeah,
grab that shit.
yeah. Like I know when it's raining because my knees are, that's my superpower.
Yeah,
My
but
knees
that
go-
happened from Vietnam.
Vietnam. But anyway, turns out that Stevie Wonder's like, no, he took off his sunglasses, and you can see his eyes. They are legit like, oh, you're definitely blind. But yeah, you can thank TikTok for that.
You know what?
Wasted 2 hours of my life.
Yeah, I know. That is like, that's a proponent of wasted time. Go ahead, Chess.
So I just watched the video of Stevie Wonder catching the mic stand.
Okay.
And by him catching the mic stand, it was just like he stuck his arm out and the mic stand fell.
So he didn't
landed
catch
on
it
his
in his
arm.
hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, there's like
That's
the
a reach
telephone
for sure.
game.
Yeah.
It's like he heard it being hit and just kind of reached out. And
Now CD is spreading misinformation because you made it sound like he Mr. Miyagi that shit.
I finished my whole point with saying that it's probably a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
but
fair.
it is interesting how people are influenced, and
This is probably a good segue, but it's also going to be a topic that isn't like the greatest thing to talk about, but it's like people are easily influenced, and also I think people don't give enough of shit. They don't give shit about anything, right? Like if it's not yours, you're just like, you go to a restaurant, you leave all your shit on the table, you don't leave a tip, they're paid to clean it up. Some people are like that. But when Kurt and I had to go to the dump station today to dump the trailer, right? There's a black water tank, which everybody knows is the bad tank, and the gray water tank is...
to explain that to the lame. I'm not sure
Okay,
exactly
so the
what
black water
is.
tank is literally sewage, like your camping trip.
Poo water?
Yeah, everybody's buffalo wings from Little Caesars that they've eaten all weekend are now in the black water tank.
Ate too much cantaloupe.
You gotta be, sometimes you stand 2 feet away from the black water tank, sometimes you stand 10 feet away from the black water tank when you're emptying it. But we pull up to the dump station. It's a free dump station. It's just like this business put it out there to be like, hey, we're nice, come and use our dump station. We pulled up, and after our camping trip, I'm tired. I smell disgusting. I have to look at another person's corn on the pavement because they didn't empty their trailer right and decided not to use the hose that the dump station provides to spray it all down the sewer, right? So now we pull up, walking in human feces.
Yeah, they
to
had
empty
like
his
a shit
trailer.
emergency. I don't know what the hell happened, but
If I seen these people, if they were ahead of me, I would have caught up with them and taken that hose and sprayed their...
They were already gone.
yeah, they were already gone.
And then I felt like, obviously, I'm an Eagle Scout, so like, leave it better than you found it. So I show up, I empty the tank. Luckily, Kurt was smart enough to have like rubber gloves, so when we're handling human waste, we can like just throw the gloves away. You're good. But I took the hose and I sprayed everything down, put it all down the drain, coiled the hose up all nice, and it just goes to show you that like people aren't considerate anymore, man.
That's definitely true. But when you say...
Like, did you see anything at your campground, your established campground, that you're just like, really?
No, I was actually more curious that there was like 3 mostly burned logs, but then they just... looks like they just poured it out. And so I was kind of pissed that... I mean, Ches knows. You guys know, too. We've camped together. But Ches and I have camped together a long time. Many, many times. I like to burn the fucking shit out of everything. If you're wasting a log... That was what pissed me off, but it was...
It wasn't like litter or anything?
Yeah, it just... it was
be nice, leave some little extra wood for the next person.
Yeah, and you know what happened across the way from my neighbor across the way they chainsawed for a whole day and they had a shit ton of wood. And I was like, and then they left for the week. And I was like, I'm going to go over and grab some of that wood. And I was kind of turning left and turning right. And then I turned my back for a moment, and some fucking...
Beat you to it?
Somebody in a truck or something just loading
like
it
someone
all
that,
up.
Someone that wasn't even camping there. They just loaded it all up. Like it was like it was some like pirate booty or something. I was like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, that's kind of...
Yeah, it was a little
kind of a
deep
stupid thing to be
off
mad
topic.
about. Yeah.
You know what I like to ask myself in these situations? Imagine yourself before you you're in the LDS pre-existence, and you are asked, do you want to be a generous person when you go down there? Do you want to be a good person? I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I'm seeing nods, right?
Yeah.
Guess what that means?
What?
It means you come down here and most of the people around you are going to be leaving shit all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on us.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Maybe
people are
that's just
shitty.
our part then.
Yeah, it's our role. to clean
Because,
up
I mean,
other
there is like that shared responsibility is that I always know there's going to be pieces of shit out there. Sometimes on the pavement, sometimes just people. But I'll clean it up for you because I'm taking advantage of this place too. You know, and I think that's like, we obviously have had you on previous shows, and you've talked about like the burner culture and like going to things like that. I feel like that place is where everybody's the most giving because you're all there together. You have a common thing. When you go camping on the dirt road, you always wave to each other. even though that guy that you just waved to could be the biggest piece of shit. But you're out in the wilderness, you know.
And
But then you get back to the city, and it makes me just want to go back out there. Like, fuck.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Even
kind-
like day to day can sometimes matter. Like some days I'm like, I see a piece of trash rolling off that I dropped, and I'm like, I just don't have the energy to get that.
Yeah.
Other days I see a piece of trash rolling along, and I'm like, you know what? This is karma points today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I pick up trash at the dog park. I don't pick up shit unless I know who left the shit, and then I'll go leave it on their doorstep or something. But I was watching a video today, and it reminded me, I'm self-employed now and I don't drink coffee, but something that I've seen many times, I would tell my boss when we'd go through the Starbucks line, I'd say, hey, buy the person behind you, buy their coffee. And then they buy the person behind them coffee. And does that shit still happen these days? I feel like a lot of that disappeared over, the COVID 2020.
It kind of does,
Donald
but I
Trump
feel
years.
like these days everybody's being a little bit more choosy about where they spend their money now.
Sure.
You know, like,
Yeah.
because what's it come out saying that they're doing all this inflation, like, relief stuff, kind of. Like, the student loan forgiveness thing. We're not going to talk about that today. But,
really?
they're saying that
Why
that's,
not?
like, just because it's, like, a political thing that is, I don't know. I had a lot in student loans that I did pay off. And, I mean, yeah, okay. There's a political side to that. But neither here nor there. I think people are just being smarter where they spend their money. Maybe they're running out of money. Maybe they're back in school now. You know, maybe they're trying to find the job that they want to do. And it's just like, I don't know. I would buy you coffee, but I'm not in a position to really even be at the Starbucks right now either.
Yeah, but what happens when you are in the line and you find out that someone's buying your coffee? And
I
then,
buy the next person's coffee for sure.
yeah. And I think it's sad that whether you're in a position to buy someone's coffee behind you and your coffee as well, and then hopefully that they, what's that? Pay it
Pass it
forward.
on. Yeah.
That Kevin Rapey movie. Pay it forward. It's just sad that people break that chain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know that fucking shit happens.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Although I'm always a venti pike kind of person, $3.80 up in Seattle. So if I rolled up and they said, "Hey, someone got this," and they recommend that you buy the one for the person behind you, that'll be $18.50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they got the
fuck
like
that.
I've had
18
that
squirts
happen
of
before,
almond
too.
milk and yeah.
Like, the
Be like,
person ahead of
cancel.
you is paying for you, and they're like, oh, shit, well, I'll take 70 coffees.
Or
And you're like, God damn it, that's kind of not the point.
they're buying coffee for the whole office or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why that might break, but
It also just might be bad. Like, maybe it's just your time. I don't know. Kurt, you were shaking your head about the karma thing. I believe in good energy. I don't know if you stack up points, but I think putting good energy out into the fucking world, you definitely get good things back. Is that the definition of karma?
If you pee in the pool, you're going to be swimming around more pee.
Yeah.
Even if the pool's an ocean, like
Yeah.
you affect what's around you.
That's true.
I don't know if I can intelligently describe it, but I think people misunderstand the actual definition of karma. Like if you pee in the pool and then you stick your head under water and you have pee on your face now, I don't think that's the actual real definition of karma. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kurt. Did you have something to add to that?
No, not at all. I'm just not happy with his microphone. So
Okay.
Is it? Do you want to fix it? Go fix it.
yeah,
we can keep talking.
I'm gonna switch it out with this one over here. So
Oh, at the break?
But yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, just keep.
Yeah, that
we
works.
got 7 minutes to the break. So
I'll
Yeah.
move it extra close from now on.
there you go. So that sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, I
Maybe
hear
I'm
when
not-
it sounds not good, and I hear it, but you know.
God, it sucks when we're getting like so big now that we talk shit about our expensive equipment.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on this shit.
Yeah.
We'll have it sound good, but so yeah, I would imagine in Seattle, venti pikes or whatever would probably cost $10 here. I mean, don't you get automatically a Seattle discount just being?
Well, you can walk down to the original Starbucks and probably pay $10 or whatever instead of $3.80.
Is it really
What?
like?
Probably.
Yeah,
Well,
because
you can-
imagine the original Starbucks is like a kind of a tourist attraction. People
Yeah.
are like, I love Starbucks so much, like they'll pay an entry fee to get in.
Yeah, there's a line like every day.
Really?
They
It's
don't
right
let-
by this big famous market. I was walking by like almost every day the last month.
They don't let the homeless people shoot heroin in the bathrooms?
Well, I can't really stop it. It's kind of one of those things that just spreads everywhere.
Dude, when I was in Denver, the Starbucks on 16th Street, which is like there's the 16th Street Mall, which is, downtown Denver, very popular area, and it was like it was kind of a slum, man. anything goes in that Starbucks because their policy is like, well, we let anyone, use our restrooms. But
Actually,
McDonald's, you have to have like a special, grimace quarter just to enter into the fucking.
Yeah. A lot of the Starbucks up there. So I saw they had these like pickup only locations, and I walked in. I was clearly like the 40th person that day that was like, "Can I just order something here in person?" They're like, "You got to download the app and whatever."
Jesus,
anyway,
really?
I got my vengeance though, because the next week that one was closed, and they're all closing. They're dropping like flies up there for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it was just my area, but I was like right in the hub of kind of Seattle.
I imagine it's hard to keep these places staffed.
What, all the Starbucks were closing?
Yeah, a ton.
Because they got shitty coffee.
Oh, that too. No, but honestly, I think I've heard it's not only Starbucks, but there's Walgreens, CVS's, a lot of those places they're shutting down just because of crime.
Yeah, shoplifting is
people
decriminalized.
They're just, you can get away with whatever the fuck you want. It's the Wild West, and the whole West Coast is the Wild West.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to bring up TikTok again, or you can see it on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, but you see these videos, people are just fucking filling up their bags,
Yep.
It's like a core fault of loss prevention, though. Like, it was even that way when I worked at Kmart back in the day. Like, your job as an employee at Kmart, not in loss prevention, was to just, if you see, I saw two dudes come in, go to the entertainment section, grab a whole entertainment center and carry it out on their shoulders. I knew that they were stealing it, but my job is not to stop them because that's a liability for Kmart. So the loss prevention people have to be there, and I think it wouldn't be that hard to figure out at Walgreens on some random corner what days the security guy's there,
Yeah.
and they're probably only hiring one.
Yeah.
Like, hey, he's not here on Tuesday, so let's go rob the place on a Tuesday.
Have you seen these videos though?
I haven't. I've seen maybe one or two of them.
Oh my god, I see like 10 or 12 a day. It's crazy.
It's kind of weird that, I don't know, maybe that's all kind of side effects of what we've been going through. Maybe people are running out of money. Maybe people are like, I don't want to work at the McDonald's or the Starbucks anymore. I am entitled to more.
Well, and up there too, it's 2 years of defunding the police, and on top of that, everyone's hard up for money, and they're like, I'm going to steal some Amazon packages. I'm going to go shoplift what I need. And so it's kind of like you get both those forces, and it's like, what are you going to do? We literally can't catch all the people that are doing petty crimes.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we'll just give them a ticket.
And I also think it's has to do with a lot of like people were making more money than they ever had in their entire life during the pandemic, with relief, what were the stimulus checks and stuff,
And unemployment,
and then just being a what were the frontline workers? What do they call them? Jesus, I'm having brain fart.
first responders.
No, not first responders, but like when you worked at
Essential workers.
essential workers. Thank you, Kurt. Essential workers. You were basically had the stigma of that your job, that you were so important. Like you were a bagger or a checker at the grocery store, and you were putting your life on the line out there. And then now that COVID is kind of settling down and all this shit, now these jobs are only paying $13, $14 an hour, and people are going, fuck you, dude. I was making $3,000 a week or a month or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird. We live in weird times, and I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
I don't want to get things too heavy because I'm a little high on that kratom right now, bro.
You feeling it?
I'm starting to feel it a little bit. Yeah.
I did see, at least today when we drove past the unemployment office here, that there was like a sign off to the side, and it looked like it was just an employer there that was like, I need people to work, which is cool. Like he went to the source of unemployment, and it'd be like, hey, anybody needs a job, like I got you. I'll pay you fair, and come put in your application.
I'm sure.
I don't know what the job was. It could have been like, I don't know, just like really hard manual labor, which
Sure.
not a lot of people are cut out for.
But
right?
those people are he's probably paying those guys in cash.
Yeah.
That Uncle Sam won't see. And
Yeah, potentially.
That's nice.
I don't know if you make that bold of a move. You go to the unemployment office to be like, I'm going to skip out on taxes on this one.
You'd be surprised, bro.
Yeah, you
I
may
don't
be
think
right.
it's legal. They have the day workers out in front of Home Depot, and I don't think that's technically legal either.
No, it isn't. But the Home Depot isn't also the unemployment office.
Sure.
But then all those people that didn't pass them up, are they now just turned down a job and are now denied?
I don't know.
Unemployment?
I don't know that. And then, then it makes this gray area of like, So were you being forced into turning down a job that you really weren't fit for to begin with? So, I mean, you're going to hire the right person for the job no matter what, right? Unfortunately, when you're a teenager and you're 16, you're going to get a job probably at a fast food place or a retail store.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's an entry-level job, so you're
Yeah.
going to get entry-level wages. There's no reason to pay someone, these $15 mandatory minimum wage when, there's a skilled electrician that's only making $5 or $6 or $7 an hour more. And they're like, well, shit, I can just sit around and do nothing and make, a little less money. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but then you get the people that are unemployed and they're like, our age, 38, you're unemployed, and they're like,
God,
well,
I
just
wish
go
I was
get a
38.
fucking job at McDonald's. And it's like, do you think that me being a 38-year-old could just go out and get a job at McDonald's and be like, oh, thank God you saved my life. I make so much now that I can afford everything that I need. No way. I'd have to get 5 jobs, which some people can do and other people can't. But struggle's still real.
Let's
Guess
get a
we're
little
figuring that out.
Let's get a little less heavy and take a little beer break. We're going to talk about our sponsor real quick, and you'll hear about that right about now. Hey, if you guys hadn't heard us talk about Salt Flats, then you need to listen to our podcast more. Salt Flats Brewery is one of the great local brews that has been part of this community and a part of this podcast for a very long time, and we want you guys to check them out. Of course, you can find their delicious wares, brews, craft cocktails, and spirits at 2020 West Industrial Circle. But, of course, you can find them at the liquor store, the grocery store, the convenience store. Ferris, you're just got in town from Seattle,
I did.
and you've been sipping on some of these delicious beers. What did you think of? You were kind of
Absolutely.
You were digging on the IPA.
I was digging on the IPA. I am really digging on this Deuce Coupe Copper Lager right now.
Yeah, one of my favorites as well. There's 2 actual different IPAs. There's a Daytona, which is more of the regular Utah grade, and then there's a full strength, which is the Slipstream. And also, these beers are available at a lot of your favorite restaurants and bars as well. So a real quick announcement: the Salt Flats Firkin that a lot of us are big fans of. It's basically like a small batch beer where they'll like fuck around with like apricots or peaches or different fruits or different kinds of flavors, and they'll make a small batch to see if this is something that they can mass produce. And Ches and I know we've been checking out a lot of these. They're also paired with our friend Diaz from Sweet Vinyl. I always
Bake Shop.
Bake Shop. Yeah, I want to say bakery, but it's Bake Shop. And she'll make like a really good cupcake to
She gave me
pair.
cupcakes last week.
Did you get some more from her?
I did.
Were they delicious?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Did you special order the German?
No,
chocolate?
I did the orange creamsicle ones that she does.
Oh, wow.
With, I don't know what kind of vodka she used, but it was really good.
Um,
Really good.
So Salt Flats, they have delicious beers and craft cocktails and spirits, award-winning spirits for you guys to check out. They've always been in our bellies during the podcast, and they keep us swervy, and we hope they're keeping you swervy too. And anyway, the new announcement is the Firkin, these small batch beers. They used to be on Thursdays, and now starting August 30th, they're going to be doing them on Tuesdays. Am I right, Ches?
So
on
yeah,
that?
the day after.
Yeah, the day after this.
The day before you hear this
before you hear
podcast.
this, so
Yeah.
we're working out the logistics behind changing the day we get the text from Nate. So hopefully we can lead you by a week.
Yeah.
Which
Either
is
way-
kind of hard to do on this podcast, honestly.
Either way, it's just fun to go down and check them out at the brewery. It's fun to sit down. It's like being at the bar, and they even let you wander around the brewery and kind of check things out as long as you're not sticking your dick in the mashed potatoes. It's a good time. So we hope you guys check them out. They supported the community and podcast for a long time. Thank you, Salt Flats, located at 2020 West Industrial Circle.
Does it bum you out if I tell you a useless cake fact that red velvet cake is just chocolate cake?
That's red.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just chocolate cake, and here we are as kids growing up being like, I want the red velvet cake.
I don't
was
believe
today
you.
years old when I found that out.
Yeah, you guys are
What the
welcome.
fuck? Really?
Heard. Yeah, it's
Really?
just it's just a specific type of chocolate.
That
It's
is
just chocolate
disappointing.
cake.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you guys can all have a shittier birthday this year.
I've never,
But it's still delicious chocolate cake.
yeah, I haven't really been a big sweets fan until I quit smoking. And by the way, congratulations to you guys. You're on day 30 now.
Day
of-
30 when this comes out, yeah.
Congrats.
No, 31st. Today's Monday, right? What day is it?
Today is the 29th.
You guys
Yeah.
need one of those. You need to go to one of those like smoking AA type places. SA, Smoking Anonymous.
Have you ever heard
You get like
Shia LaBeouf's story on how he got into AA?
I didn't. Dude, Shia LaBeouf sober?
Yeah.
Because he sure acts
I
like a
don't
crazy
know.
fuck.
Yeah, he is 100% crazy. But when you said AA, I was like, I just saw him. He was on a podcast. Can't remember the name of the guy that did it, but basically the guy from AA, Shia LaBeouf was like ready to kill himself, and he's like, I'm gonna join this meeting and fix myself. And he went into the meeting, and the dude kept saying like, well, you don't have everything you ever wanted, but you have everything you need now, and kept snapping his fingers for like 2 minutes just saying now. And Shia LaBeouf was like, what the fuck? And so he messaged the dude on chat and said, hey, I don't need this bullshit, but I'm like on the edge. I need help. Can you help me? He's like, meet me at the beach tomorrow. And so he met him at the beach, and the dude's like, get down on your knees. And Shia LaBeouf was like, no, fuck you. And he's like, all right, see you later. And then Shia LaBeouf was thinking in his mind, hey, this guy cares enough that he showed up here, but now he's just walking away because I'm not doing what he wants. And so they came, they eventually they're at the beach. They're down on their knees in the sand. And he's like, tell the waves to stop being waves, like make them stop, yell at them and scream at them till he broke down crying. Got to the point where he was like, oh, this isn't bullshit. This is like, okay, this is kind of working for me, And he's like, you got to clear your slate. If you're an alcoholic, clear your slate. Get rid of everything that reminds you of that, even if your girlfriend contributes to that or your roommates contribute to that. Like, change your environment. So we went through that. The story goes way more in depth, but it's interesting to think of how change in your environment can just affect people differently, Like, he didn't need the tough love or anything. He just needed somebody who was like, your ego isn't that big.
If I'm not mistaken, the fourth step in the 12 steps of the AA program, it's making amends, and he must be making amends because
He did, yeah. He went to rehab in Utah a long time ago.
apparently Utah's like the best place to go to rehab.
He was like, I wrote a list of, they took his phone away, and he said that was the number one thing that destroyed his ego, because he's always on his phone looking for like good things about him, or like he's always getting that rush, he can always self-validate.
The story or likes.
When he didn't have it anymore, he's like, I just wrote a list of all the people that I've wronged in my life, and now I'm still trying to make amends.
Well, apparently he wronged his father, because there's a recent news story that came out that said that, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently a really quite critically acclaimed movie that he was in that's on Amazon Prime called Honey Boy,
Really
which is
good.
about the story of him and his father. Well, he just recently came out and says, no, my dad wasn't abusive, which I haven't seen the movie. Spoiler alert, I guess he's fucking abusive to little LaBeouf. He got his little LaBeouf muff kicked or whatever, but anyway, he's practicing his, Fourth Amendment to making amends. So good for him,
Yeah, there's a
Props.
random offshoot from your AA thing, but sorry.
Right.
I'm supposed to keep you in line.
Did you know the guy that founded AA? I forget his first name. Everyone always says,
can't remember.
"Are you a friend of?"
Dave's?
In either case, whatever. I can tell you. He heavily attributed acid as
Yeah.
one of the main reasons he quit.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we've talked about that on the podcast, but
Dorothy.
he used acid as like a...
Are you a friend of Dorothy?
Dorothy, really?
What kind of
That's
weird
a- that's a
shit
girl's
you
name.
know here, man?
I
StevesNews.com.
don't know.
Sorry, no, that's...
Snopes that.
But yeah, apparently acid. So I used to date a girl that was in, heavily in the program in recovery, and along with her family, and I don't need to say names or whatever, but I brought up during a Thanksgiving dinner, which was super embarrassing because I wasn't intelligently bringing it up, but some of her family was in worked for like the VA and stuff. I'm like, oh, what do you know about the psilocybin and MDMA therapy that they're doing for vets and people that experience PTSD? And they looked at me, because they're all in recovery. They looked at me like I was a fucking crazy. Like, how dare you say that we would give drugs to help people make themselves feel better? But that's like a big it's like a real like you can even here in Salt Lake, you can go. I don't know if you've seen it in Seattle, but you can go to ketamine therapy.
Yeah.
Like you can, and it's like,
it's effective.
I mean, I kind of want to try it out. And
I don't think you
know-
can just be like, hey man, I would really like some ketamine.
No, it's, no, but
You know?
you're,
I know some
you're
people that
right.
can
I'm
help
sure.
you.
No, I'm sure there's some qualifying.
I mean, you're not wrong at that.
No, wait though.
Brad.
I'm sure there's qualifying steps.
I'm sure.
They take you. You can't just be some junkie off the
Mm-hmm.
street. It's like, hey, give me your fucking finest ketamine.
Yeah, we've talked about them making like huge strides in PTSD, you know,
Yeah.
with the ketamine treatment and
But
It's totally quantifiable too. You can measure it. Like I heard a stat on it that I couldn't repeat, but it was like, to me, I was just like, yeah, I know. Where it was like 40% of the people after one treatment no longer have like suicidal thoughts or whatever the
Yeah.
thing was that it was going on.
yeah, which kind of brings me to a segue. I know I brought it up earlier and kind of joking around, whatever, but I've been hearing about this, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, whatever, but kratom, I say kratom, creek, whatever, but kratom. You offered some kratom to me, and I've been seeing it, and I've been curious about it. Only, and I'm saying this real legit and in mostly in a journalistic sense and just out of curiosity. I don't want to just take something. I mean, of course, I love getting fucked up and I love getting drunk and, you know, smoking weed and whatever. But I use cannabis to help with my arthritis and help me sleep and help my gout. But with kratom, I've heard there's a number of different uses for it.
What is it though? Let me start with that because for
what-
me it's always sounded like a bad thing. Like people are like it's kratom, and I'm like I don't know anything about it.
It's a ground up plant. It's a green powder.
Okay,
Tastes like a bitter ground up plant.
it's not synthetic like salvia or something, right?
Right.
No, it's just
yeah. I don't even know.
yeah. Okay.
I mean, and I don't know a ton about it. I just know what I've experienced, what people around me have experienced.
what did it help you with?
Well, for me, I mean, there's really two main varieties. I believe there's a third as well, maybe even more. But there's typically like red and green.
Okay.
And I probably will even get this backwards, but I believe the green is more of like the downer variety, and the red is more of like an upper, give you energy kind of variety. People also say you take a little bit and it gives you energy, and you take a lot and you start to get more like almost like opiate-like effects. Although I hate to
lethargic.
even or like sedated, I
Okay.
guess I'd say.
Okay.
Where like but I'm even reluctant to use sort of the opiate term because I believe it's kind of
Yeah.
like an alternative to that type of stuff, which is
Well, I have heard. So I listened to a podcast about some. Well, it was on with Joe Rogan. A couple guys, and I'm totally at a loss of their names, but they basically talked about it for 3 hours, and they're big proponents of kratom, and they've used it. I think they're former bodybuilders, and so they actually got into pain pills, and because of a lot of the pain I imagine that you experience with just working out a lot and pushing your body to the extremes. But the unfortunate part of that is you get hooked on these pills, which big pharma, we can get into a whole fucking thing about that. I don't think people realize that how big of an influence big pharma has on our lives. And so anyway, they were talking about how kratom helps and helped them satiate that feeling of not only helping their pain, but kind of getting that feeling where you're not hooked on those pills. Now, Are you getting hooked on the kratom? I don't know. I can't speak on that.
I do know
but-
of a YouTuber who talks about kratom and him being like, yeah, I'm very addicted to kratom, but I don't know how he went down that path or anything. So I'm sure it's just like anything else. Anything that you do on a daily basis becomes habit forming, right? And
Yeah,
it doesn't have
and-
to be bad things like eating sugar in the morning.
Yeah, and I distinguish between like, hey, I have to do this thing every day, like I'm addicted to making my bed or something, or I'm addicted to this habit, versus like the other end of the spectrum, like if I stop doing this thing, I'm going to have withdrawals.
Yeah.
Right.
And people would have to look this up, but I've not seen anyone that like is at the point where like if they stop taking kratom, they would have withdrawals.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
But I've known
about
2 or 3 people that have chronic pain issues for a variety of reasons, and they're like, "Oh, this is what I use to manage my pain because I don't want to be taking like Percocet every day or something like that."
I've had a number of different injuries over the years. I had some facial reconstructive surgery, and I had, especially with the facial reconstructive, I was on pain pills for a long time. Fortunately for me, I didn't really feel the urge. Like, I didn't feel like I got hooked on them or like I really needed them. When I was done with my prescription, I was done. It was good. I was on them for several months, but some people, they get hooked on that stuff. And so anyway, to describe, not to like sound like I'm some like druggie or pillhead, but right now I would feel like, just to share my experience, is that I feel, my body feels like I took a Percocet.
You feel relaxed, like kind of like you're...
Yeah, I feel like just that tingly, like very relaxed. But I'm also drinking, which that's the one thing why I don't like pain pills, because if you drink and take pain pills,
bad.
You just, it's, at least for me, you're just sick, you feel nauseous, you feel, you know, very just dizzy, you just don't want to do shit. But
by the way, like, don't take anything if you don't need to.
Yeah.
sure,
Like,
yeah.
You know, if you're good, you're good. Like, experimentation is, like, I think natural for everybody, but at the same time, you're still taking a risk, like, hands down, you know?
But I feel just like with cannabis, you know, sometimes I just need it when I have, my gout is flaring up, which it doesn't happen too often, but when my gout's flaring up, like really bad, I just have to take ibuprofen. I have to take it. Otherwise, I'm not walking. I think the cannabis kind of helps with that. And I maybe do use cannabis nowadays, maybe once a week, if that. But, and probably less in the summertime because I'm just a little more active. But it's the kratom. It's not bad. I'd take it. But I was at a smoke shop the other day and I saw that they have. You said there's like the red and the green, but I saw 4 different. There's like a red, green, yellow, and a blue or whatever, and they're all for different things. One was for energy, one's for sleep, which is interesting because when you offered some here at the studio, I told you, I don't want to take it if I'm feeling like
jittery, like too much caffeine.
Yeah, like feel cracked out or drink too much coffee.
And that's interesting because we took from the same thing, and for me, this typically gives me more energy, like gives me energy, alertness, without any of sort of like the tweakiness that's associated with a lot of like upper type stuff, or even like too much
going
caffeine.
to the gas station and getting like mini thins and shit.
Yeah.
Remember that shit back in the day?
I did that when I was a kid. I think they were like yellow jackets or something.
Yeah.
Like, what happens if we take the whole bottle and then like 8 hours later you're like, that was dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like
Purifedrin.
we made a mistake. And they never sold them in like, maybe that's why as a kid I thought they were so like, the allure to them was they don't seem safe. So they're at the gas station, I can buy them. I don't have to be 18.
Okay, what are mini thins again? I know
It's basically just like an energy pill.
It was like, it was purifedrin.
Ephedrine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Jolt?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I as a Mormon kid, that was one of the 2 drugs I did. The other was cough syrup. But we went and we bought Jolt from the gas station. We actually snuck into the church and hid by the AC units. We sat
drink
there
Jolt,
and we drank Jolt.
You could have gone to the AC units and actually huffed the AC unit fluid. That's like a real thing. You ever hear about that?
No,
like they
I
cut
haven't.
the lines and they like
It doesn't sound
breathe
like
in
I would
Freon.
recommend it to anybody either.
No, that's like a real legit thing that I can't remember that coolant or Freon.
It was Freon. I think
Yeah.
Freon's illegal now
Yeah.
because it had atmospheric effects or something.
That's interesting. You say Jolt, which is caffeine, which seems somewhat innocuous. I don't know if that's right. Is it innocuous? I don't have my
harmless
dictionary, but the cough syrup, that actually, the old school cough syrup, and maybe it still has it, but it's dextromorphin, which is a street name called Dex. That stuff will make you feel like you are a pterodactyl.
Sipping on that scissor.
Yeah, that's the scissor, dude. I remember doing that when I was 16, and holy hell, man.
I've you know what, and I think I've said this on the show before, but I'm just not a fan of ingesting things, or like, and I've never been a fan of pills, just because I feel like, you ingest it and then you're along for the ride.
Well, and the other thing,
You don't find out till like you're in the middle of it if you took too much or not, and that's what I'm like. Nah, I think I've got a cold. I'll just wait it out. Then at least I know when I start feeling better that it's on its way out.
And another thing too is you can have bad mixes, and you take a little too much of something, or you mix it with this or that, and you might not wake up.
One of our buddies who's been on the show before, he had some respiratory problems for a while, and I think last time I talked to him, he said he has to take 36 pills a day.
Holy shit.
One of them does something, but then one of them's to counteract the other thing, and then you have to take this one at a certain time, some of them 3 times a day. And this was just from like one really horrible thing that happened to him that put him in the hospital that they had a hard time figuring out, and they're still trying to figure it out. And he's like, some days I don't take it because I feel so detached from reality that like I don't even know
like
what's going on in
lithium?
my body anymore. I don't know. I was like, do you want to name what they are? And he's like, well, do you have time to sit through 36 pill names? He's like, I'd have to go home and get all my prescriptions to tell you, which is crazy because went from being a healthy guy going to the gym with me every day to respiratory problem, has to walk around with oxygen.
Oh yeah. I and not even like trying to, I was just an innocent little 14, 15-year-old, you know, not even trying to get fucked up, but I would take cough syrup, like the, you know, the nighttime formula, just to fall asleep every night because it was really easy to fall asleep. And I lived with my dad, and all of a sudden now I went through every bottle of cough syrup in the whole house. So we were out of cough syrup. And there was, you know, we kept like 2 or 3 bottles of cough syrup in the house. And like a day or 2 later, I got violently ill.
Yeah.
Like serious, like throwing up, like major withdrawals because whatever that, I don't know if it has codeine or acetaminophen or whatever the fuck's in that shit.
Same thing. Well, not to that extent, but like melatonin. People are like, yeah, I take it every day to fall asleep. And then as soon as you're like, I don't have the melatonin, you have a hard time falling asleep. Same thing happens with alcohol. You drink enough every day, then you're like, oh, I've heard people at the bar be like, yeah, I'm here just so I can go to bed later, you know? And it's like, so you have to have your 6 shots and 3 beers and then you're good, which then you're skirting the line of like 0.05, you know, should you be driving home after that much, even though you're tired?
That's why alcoholics can get, you know, if they're in the hospital, they can get a prescription.
Of what is it? You can get a Jack Daniels prescription where every like couple hours they'll come in and give you a shot because as a
Do
severe
you think they
alcoholic,
actually give you Jack Daniels though, or they giving you like fucking Black
they
Velvet?
probably give you like VO. They're like, well,
Some
that's
Canadian
whiskey.
host.
$80 a shot in the hospital.
Oh, I'm
Don't
sure.
even get
It's Mad Dog 2020.
Canadian Mist.
I will say I'm a pretty heavy drinker, and you know I don't mind admitting it. I'm not exactly proud of it, but on the days and the nights that I don't drink, my dreams are ramped up. And I definitely dread that. Like, you ever had lucid dreams, Ferris?
Oh, a little bit. I worked on it for a little while.
On purpose, though? Like,
Yeah.
why would you want to purposely have...
Oh,
Because I want to fly.
I did it for a while, and it's pretty cool if you can. Usually, the key is you set your alarm for like half an hour before you actually have to get up, and then you consciously get up, snooze your alarm, and then you kind of go half back asleep. That worked for me quite a bit. But then you have to be self-aware you're dreaming, and it's fun. I thought it was a great time. I don't necessarily do it all the time.
For me, it's apple juice.
You're right. You did talk to me about apple juice. Is your mic foam inverted?
No, I just have a thing up here.
Oh, okay.
He's got a hat on it.
I was like, am I lucid dreaming right
apple
now?
juice gives you crazy dreams?
Oh yeah.
Kurt
It
told me
fucks
about
up.
this.
It's awesome.
Really?
He said, so no, seriously, like, Kurt's not
I'm
making
buying
this
some
up.
apple juice for Christmas,
What
bro.
did you tell me at your house? You said, I think we were after camping or something, you're putting apple juice away. I was like, you must really like apple juice. And you said specifically, if you drink a shitload of apple juice before you go to bed at night, your dreams are crazy.
Oh yeah. It really works. At least for me. It doesn't work for everyone, but for me.
What was it in apple juice that does that? Is there
I
like
don't
some...
know.
That's
It's just
Is it like you're so tired, but then you fell asleep on an apple juice sugar rush? That
No,
like you're
I
just,
can't pronounce this. It's acetylcholine.
Are you on Google?
Yeah, I'm looking
So
up.
unmute the computer and
Well, I
then
know if
press
you-
the like speak button.
I know the apple seeds.
Well, no, it's just a thing that's just
okay.
not a.
apple
search for the
seeds
word.
have arsenic in them, so maybe you're fucking like getting some arsenic poisoning in your brain.
I think when they make apple juice, they don't put the seeds in it. As a
Oh, sure,
as
but
a-
maybe that's where the acetylclotamines or whatever Ches is trying to
maybe
say
it
come
does
from.
leach a little bit of
Yeah.
arsenic into an apple.
It's kind of trace arsenic in everything we eat,
I mean,
probably.
that's true. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I
if
have
you-
more
maybe.
arsenic in my backyard than an apple tree.
Any kind of seafood that you buy at the grocery store, I'm sure has some trace metals that you're not gonna.
Okay.
All these hot
Did you
springs.
Google
Yeah.
the word? You have
Yeah, I
the-
got it now here.
Arsenic.
Okay,
So
let's hear the word.
Acetylcholine.
Acetylcholine. Okay.
Acetylcholine.
That means nothing to any of us.
Why do
Okay,
you always have like a 5-second delay?
I think that there's a lot of things that happen in that split, in that 5 seconds. Kurt had to put the volume slider up. He had to unmute it. Ches had to find out how to skip the ad since he's not paying for premium Google.
I tried to tell a joke half a second too late or too
Yeah,
early,
shit.
depending how you count.
So apple juice, huh? Should we do it for science? Drink
I
a bunch of
mean,
apple juice
You
later.
know what we
Yeah.
should do for science?
I do it every night.
I've had this bag for
Every
about
night.
a year now. A friend gave me. He said, you make this into a tea. It's like, I got a whole bag of this, and it gives you lucid dreams. And I've had this in my bag of other unmentionables.
I'll try it if we
And-
like test kit
Is it mushroom powder?
I've never tried it. No, it's as far as I know, totally legal, and it looks kind of like big pot leaves or something.
It's really just Mexican oregano.
Yeah.
No, it's,
No, I mean,
Try it. Report back next
probably
week.
it could be hemp
Yeah.
leaves,
you never know.
but Going-
When you get it from somebody you trust, though, that's a different story. Like if a random guy's like, "You want some lucid dreams?" Like that's just say no.
my
No, I
problem
don't.
my problem with lucid dreams, and I've had some people train themselves and like listen to YouTube videos and whatever to do lucid dreaming, and for me it's a curse because I've had lucid dreams for a long time, and my problem with them is that I know that I'm sleeping, so I don't feel that I am getting quality sleep because I can wake myself up at any time.
Yeah, that's
Or-
why you usually get a full night's sleep and then set your alarm so that you've already gotten your
But I want it.
REM sleep in, and then you get your half-ass sleep and have fun in your dream.
Yeah.
And maybe
I've
you shouldn't
totally
worry
done-
about it.
Yeah,
Right? Like enjoy it. Like you're not on a job. You're not on the clock.
yeah.
You're sleeping. Don't worry about it. Just have some fun.
The thing about cell phones too is like on my clock app, I can set you can set 12 alarms. So you can set a bunch of shit if you're afraid of like not waking up in time. Because in your dream, you obviously don't have a sense of reality, the time in reality. So you might be like, oh, I'm going to be late for my first window cleaning, or I'm going to be late to my meeting or something. So it'll kind of fuck with your dreams. But it is so cool the first time that you're like hit the lucid dream state and you're like, oh, I'm dreaming and I can do anything.
Yeah.
And then you jump into a pool and you breathe underwater, and then it turns into the ocean or something, and you're just swimming around breathing underwater.
I've got a question.
Then you realize that might just be your sleep apnea.
I've got a question for you guys. I was watching a video talking about lucid dreaming, and for me, it's quite common. It happens at least 2 or 3 times a week. But I was watching this video that said the next time that you're lucid dreaming, the character, whatever character, because you usually have some character, and for me, it's quite often sometimes people I know, some people that I've never thought of, I haven't thought about for 30 years. And sometimes it's someone completely, like, I have no idea who this is.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen this face before.
Yes, you have.
I honestly don't.
In your subconscious, you have. They say you cannot produce a face in a dream that you have not actually seen in real life.
I disagree.
It could have been like a random person at like the beer
I-
fest. Or
Exactly.
something.
I completely disagree. I completely
We all
disagree.
know
It's
about
happened to me
this person
so many
doesn't
times.
exist.
I can barely even remember what I did today when I
but
had
that's
breakfast.
different, though. It's in your.
Long-term subconscious.
Agree,
This is
Yeah.
a
agree
very-
to disagree.
Yeah.
And I've got a crazy story about that, but quite often it's like whether it's a character that I know or don't know. What this video is saying is that what you should do in a lucid dream, and you know you're lucid dreaming, and you see a character that you're corresponding with, you ask them, where am I, and what day and time is it? And apparently,
That sounds like something somebody would say to you when you're like in the middle of a mushroom trip and they're like, "Go look at the moon."
no, seriously, if you know that you're dreaming and you're talking
and
to
then
someone,
you're like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Ask the person what day and what time is it, and what they tell you is, I don't know.
Is
I
whatever
don't know
your
how-
subconscious.
I don't know what's
determines.
supposed to happen. Is it supposed to be the past, the future? Like, are you time traveling? Are you visiting something from the past? That might be going to what you're saying, Ches. Like, this person that you're seeing is someone that you've seen or met at some point in your life. Even though I have this girl, I had a lucid dream last night, and this chick, I was trying to have sex with her.
So you probably met her while you were blacked out drunk.
Not good foreplay.
I have no
What
idea
day and time is it?
who this chick is, why she's even attractive
What
to
year
me.
is it?
What I should have asked her what day and time is it?
Yeah,
So-
but so you weren't really lucid dreaming. I mean, maybe you knew
I was
you were in a
definitely lucid
dream,
dreaming
but-
because it actually wasn't last night. It was the last night I was camping. So Saturday night.
What year would you hope for in this scenario?
Well, here's
If you're about to do the deed.
that's an interesting
What's the
question because
hottest
what
year?
what if they said it was like 1964?
It's pretty good.
now
year.
you're fucking with alternate timelines.
Yeah.
No, now
but
we're
what-
talking about maybe of what do they call that?
It's called a rip in the space-time continuum.
No. It's when reincarnation. Reincarnation. That's what I'm trying to think of. So if they say, "Oh, well, it's 1854," like,
Maybe you just watched one of those movies.
But why
There's
am I
something-
talking on an iPhone?
no, have you? No,
I'm gonna call my buddy. It's 1894. I gotta call.
I read a book and there's legit. It's called Old Souls, and there's legit like evidence out there saying that reincarnation is like kids have been able.
Like I know where
mostly
this
happens
dead
with-
guy's buried because that was me before.
It,
And
yes,
it's like
exactly.
The 3-year-old kid is like right here, and then they find him.
And it mostly happens with young children, and they're able to recall very specific details. And then when they go back to this village in, Wakanaka, Washington County, whatever, and they find this one steeple in this, grass field.
Washington County.
Well, yeah. Have you never heard of Walla Walla, Washington?
It's just awesome that-
Ting Ting Walla Walla Bing Bang. I mean,
I
come
can't
on,
imagine being your fucking dreams.
Yeah. Like, fucking.
He's like, last night I dreamed about everything that starts with a W, and unfortunately I had to be in it.
Wade was in Walla Walla, Washington.
Walla, Washington, washing some washcloths.
Well, you said something earlier, Ches, that got me thinking, which was like this memory of a face has to come from somewhere, right? Like you would have seen it somewhere, or maybe a combination of two faces.
Exactly.
That leads me to think you are like a materialist or materialist reductionist. Like consciousness comes from all these atoms in the brain bouncing around. Is that accurate? Is that how you view the world, or do you think consciousness is separate from matter?
I don't know.
Maybe this
but
is a
no,
whole new topic.
He just gave me the look of like, damn, that's a good question.
Yeah. Well, because I was a materialist for a while. And I'm
Well, no,
like,
I
I think we're maybe separate.
I had just seen somewhere in an article saying the human brain cannot create a new face.
How do you know that, though? How do you know that? How does anybody fucking know that?
That's a fair.
But what
that's a
if-
fair
How the
question,
fuck
too.
did they just like open up the brain and like plug it into a computer and it says you cannot imagine anything that's not possible
So
that you have not
that's
seen?
funny that you bring that up because now you just assume that computers are smarter than your brain because it's telling somebody they can't imagine.
Have you seen what AI is doing?
Yeah, this person does not exist.com
Yeah.
generates a face.
So here's the reason, and I'm not trying to like say that you're right or I'm wrong or I'm right or you're wrong. I'm always right. But anyway,
There we go.
the reason why I say it, and I don't want to get like too heavy or religious or whatever, but I'm going to share a story with you, and I know we're kind of running out of time, and I'll make it quick. So my old boss, we were doing window cleaning, and no matter what, we always, no matter what, go to breakfast every single morning. And I had a dream the night before, and it was just right after my dad had passed, and there was like what I would interpret as like a guardian angel came to me and said, and my dad was in the dream as well, and she basically said, everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. I know you're worried about this. I know you're worried about that. And it was I will never forget this dream. The guardian angel, I can't remember now, but I will never forget about it because, I mean, it was fresh when my dad had died. So it was, when you lose a parent, it's very, very significant.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the next day, I've never seen this girl in my entire life. I don't remember this guardian angel, So we went to this breakfast place and they opened up this new pancake house. It's in Sugar House. What's that pancake house? And it's like 9th East and 21st.
The original Pancake House?
Yes, the original pancake house. Yeah, so
Sorry.
we'd never been to the original pancake house. Never been there. And let's try out this place. I'm sick of going to D's. I'm sick of going to fucking Village Inn. Let's go to the original. Let's bring the extra buck and let's get some pancakes.
Yeah.
We walk in, we sit down. Someone brings us our water. The hostess sits us down, and our waitress comes over to take our order, and it's the fucking guardian angel from my dreams.
Did she wink at you?
No, but
Damn, that would've
dude,
been
it
sick.
seriously, right now I'm cool, but it seriously brought
Yeah.
me to tears.
Yeah.
my boss was like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, I had a dream about like she was an angel in my dream last night, and I'm not a religious person. He is very religious, so he's like, "Oh, we need to pray." Blah. He held my hand and we said a prayer in the middle of the restaurant. I'm like, "Okay, this is a little embarrassing," but anyway, I didn't mean to push on you there too much, Ches, but like I'd never seen this girl in my entire life.
But now it makes you think though, because I do believe that
she was my dream the day
this is
before.
what I'm bringing up is I do believe that the people who pass on, like when my uncle died, there was like a few things that happened that it was like, oh, that's him for sure. So does it make you wonder if like your dad knew the next thing you're gonna see tomorrow morning when you're going through this really horrible time in your life is going to be that waitress? So if I put that in your brain, then when you show up, you'll just know like everything is going to be okay. You think it's a possibility?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think your dad watches over you?
Dude, sometimes I get like really drunk and I'm like, Roscoe looks at me, and to the listener, Roscoe's my dog, and he just looks at me and he just has this look of disappointment, just like. But then it's like, you are way too drunk.
Dogs can definitely tell when their owners are drunk, 100%.
And I'm never like, if anything, I'm more like amorous and like, I love you. Do you want some more carrots and
He's
blueberries?
like, my dad is drunk as shit.
He's like, I'm getting the fuck
like,
away
oh my
from
God,
here.
I'm sleeping on the couch tonight, son. So then I moved the couch into my bedroom. I can't get away from me.
No, that is like, it does make you think, you know? I think that's the important thing is to just, you asked a really good question, Ferris, which was, you know, like how does the brain work, and like is there a separation of consciousness and reality? What happens when we die?
Are you a dualist? Is it separate? Are
I
there
don't
two,
know.
are there two things? Is it just matter, or is there something else?
I'd like to believe there's something else.
I mean, I'm here. Like, I can understand balls of matter bouncing around and making all this complicated stuff that eventually makes humans, but I'm in here.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I assume you're in there too. I can't think of anything.
Not all
matter.
the time, but I'm in there most of the time.
I don't know what you necessarily mean by dualist, but
Well, there's two things.
yeah,
like, there's matter.
I get that.
And
Like
there's
having a
something.
spirit or a soul.
There's something, whatever you call it. I
Whatever
don't
you
know.
call it.
But I'm definitely not religious anymore, but I feel like there's something else. There's some level of
Spiritual.
I don't even know if I'd want to call it spiritual, but like maybe this is a simulation, or consciousness can
It goes
be absorbed.
We're all in the divine.
It goes super meta, and we're all actually just in the metaverse.
Hey, easy there, not the divine. I was thinking the sublime.
We're on the upside down.
Okay, I don't know about it. We got a little too heavy. Maybe not. I don't know. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this podcast bends your brain. Hopefully, it bends your brain, and we appreciate all of you guys tuning in every week and putting up with my bullshit, and especially these guys' bullshit. Son of a bitch.
Why'd you point at me?
Because you're
making him think too much.
yeah.
Fair.
I was gonna make fun of you really bad.
Thank you for coming back.
Yes.
By the way, I'm glad that
Thanks
you
for
still
having
want
me,
to come
man.
back and talk to a microphone with us.
Always, anytime.
All right, man.
And welcome back to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Feels good to be back.
Your mom.
Don't force
He's
it.
already fucked it up.
Don't force it.
I ate a bunch of cantaloupe and farted in your mom's sheets and gave her a Dutch oven.
It's supposed to be an
She's
insult, not a dad
listening.
joke.
And it's supposed to be, this has been your weekly insult.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been your weekly insult. I farted on your mom's face.
That doesn't make it better. Like, why does it always have to be a mom joke?
What was it? Is that 4 episodes now? It took him to fuck it up?
I always have a good.
Oh, wait. He didn't call us last time, so it's only 3. Wait, was it 1?
Yeah, like for some reason this whole weekend I've been calling the show by its old name. I'm kind of sad about it.